Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
I'm Mac.
And I'm Pepper.
And today we're continuing our alphabet soup challenge with the letter P, which for us surprisingly had a lot of P games.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably our biggest letter in quite a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last few have just been a few games apiece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which have made easier thumbnails to make for those.
That's true.
Now I'm going to have to fit, how many is it?
Yeah, it looks like, I think...
Well, she's flipping through the pages
16.
here.
16 games.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Next closest is M at 12, and then D at 14, and then C at 37.
So, P might be one of our top 5 letters of games, which is surprising. Because, I would not expect that. But C is really, I think C is still more surprising to me than P, because C has been like double any of our other letter count, and I don't know, it just seems like a letter that you wouldn't expect to be.
It's just a common letter for board games, apparently.
Just from the very beginning, some of our first games we got are Catan, Carcassonne, we got Clans of Caledonia, that's like a double C, got that pretty early, so I've always thought of C as like the letter, so I probably hold that in higher regard than you guys. But.
Wow. But now you can think of P as one of those letters.
Yes.
I'm
happy. I'm Pepper.
So
we can get into some P's. Let's get into the old Patchwork, which all of us have played now.
Yeah.
I think it was new to you this year.
Yep.
We might have played it on BGA previously.
Yeah.
It might have still been this year. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. It was either probably the end of last year or the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, new to all of us. What do you think, Mackie, since there's going to be some games that you may not have played later on?
I liked this one a lot. I think the rondelle is always something that wins with you, but I thought that was pretty cool. And then I also like that you're just putting together your own quilt. So there's a little bit of player interaction in that, but really at the end of the day you're just building your own quilt. And so I really liked that piece of it. I think similar game comes to mind is like Glasgow. But I think I prefer Patchwork over that one. That's a little different mechanisms other than the rondelle, but I really like this one.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's just pretty simple polyomino shapes being put together. 2-player only. Yep. An Uwe Rosenberg game. I think it might be my favorite Uwe game just because it's so quick.
Yep.
And it works really well.
Yeah, this one was going into it. I thought it might be like too simple, like kind of the first big polyomino game might not actually offer that much. But I think with how that rondelle works and the income, it definitely earns its keep.
The buttons.
Yes, that one's definitely staying in the collection.
Earn your buttons.
Then I think we've got our only Stonemaier game. It starts with a P, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Pendulum.
Don't be painting yourself in a corner there. Then they'll be like, "Oh, here's another Stonemaier."
And another one.
I shouldn't have even said anything. But yeah, this is one that we've had pretty much ever since it came out.
Yeah.
I think pre-ordered it. I've had it since then.
Yeah.
And we knew this one was going to be a little unique compared to the other games we have in our collection, since it is based on sand timers, real-time game. But it also has a worker placement aspect to it, which you wouldn't think you'd be able to do worker placement and that at the same time. But the worker placement aspect is simple enough that it keeps it easy to flow through the game. Whereas I think if you look at some worker placement games and they'd be too complex, I think, to work. Yeah. So I think they make it work in this game.
Yep. It's got to be simple for those sand timers. It's already chaos, so.
Right. You can check out some of that chaos.
Yeah.
We have some videos out on Pendulum, so you can check those out if you want to learn a little bit more about it. But yeah, I think that one will be staying in our collection because I think that's the only one. We have a couple more games now that kind of have a time element in them, but not quite the same.
Very unique game. And a Stonemaier game, and I don't know if we'll ever get rid of a Stonemaier game from our collection.
Yeah.
Unless there's a new edition of one.
And there will be another set of games we won't ever be getting rid of, and that's the Garfield set of games.
Now, boys.
I finally got them to play Paladins of the West Kingdom with me again.
Yes,
This is
again,
kind of
we
the-
had played it with
Yeah.
you, like
Yes.
once
I think this is
before.
my third time playing it.
This is my second time.
This is, I think, the heaviest game that they have in kind of their two trilogies so far. I don't know if when they do the South Tigris, if there's going to be one that's more complex. I think they said there was one that was kind of similar weight to Paladins. I think Circadians is a little thinkier, a little heavier. I don't know which one I would say is more thinky.
I think Circadians might
Paladins.
actually be.
You think Paladins?
Well, I've only played Circadians at 2 players, so I guess I don't know.
I feel like Paladins you can play with like 3 or 4 players. I don't know how Circadians will play with more.
It might be a little
I think that's
tight.
too thinky. This one, I think you kind of have
Yeah.
kind of do things all together at the same time, so it keeps it going.
Sure.
I really love the game. I wish I got to play it a little bit more.
I used to despise this game after the first play. It was just too much for my brain. I wasn't ready to play it. So I avoided playing it for years, it feels like. Now we finally got back to it. And I will say I actually enjoyed that play of it. I forget if I won, but I was at least competitive. Something I didn't think I could be. And definitely got to understand the game a lot more than I thought I could and grasp it. And I would say I have positive feelings towards this game now.
Well, that's good. Do you have positive feelings?
I would say I understand it better. I think like for these games, there's sometimes like Viscounts like I didn't love at first, and then after playing it 10 times, I was like, oh, this is great. So I think Paladins is along the same lines of like you need to play it multiple times in order to understand and appreciate what it does. I will say it's still a little bit of a complicated mind conundrum. You know, when you're doing it, there's just so many actions you can take and so many icons, and you have to remember what this means versus that, and if you play it this way on the card, then it means that for that icon. And so like those like details are what are challenging, I think, to me. Not necessarily the gameplay of it, but like knowing how to use all of this to like get ahead. And that is the brilliance and the puzzle, the conundrum that is Paladins to me. So
That's interesting, because I guess, do you think in the first couple plays you had of Viscounts that you felt that same way? Because they have some of those cards that have a same sort of thing, like if you use them for one way, you can use the symbols, but then if you kind of keep the card, then you don't get those.
Pretty much every corner inside of the card has a different use.
I did, but I feel like Viscounts wasn't like for Paladins. It's like you can sell it, you can fight it, you can buy it, you can. So like there's more to those icons than there is in Viscounts. I mean, there is still that much, but then there's the play one, there's the buy one, there's the, you know, so it's like, it's green, it's red, it's black. I don't know which one means what. So I think if you remember our last play of this, I was like, what does this mean again? What does this mean? I think I must have asked that like 5 times as we played it. So, I don't know. I mean, it's
We just
there,
gotta
but
play it more
I just
so
have
you
to
know.
associate it better.
10 by 10, the return.
No.
10 by 10
No.
return
No,
of the Paladin.
I'm opting out.
And we got Photosynthesis,
Oh boy.
which you did not play.
I didn't. I meant to play it, but really there's no love lost for me on this game, so.
Yeah, this is one that's...
Might be the oldest.
I was thinking it might be the oldest P games in our
It's one of
collection.
the first ones you got.
Because, yeah, we had not... it definitely has a look to it that it's like, wow, this is going to be a really fun game, maybe relaxing game. And it can be pretty nasty. I don't know that I would want to play it at more than 2 players, just because the board would get to be so full, and then you're not getting... kind of one of the resources is sunlight, pretty much that you're collecting from trees, and just kind of the way that the trees can either get or not get sunlight if they're being blocked is just a little bit almost too punishing, it seems like. And then everything is just very, very expensive.
It does get really expensive, especially near the end. You're trying to sell off all your trees. You're having less trees to produce you income. And it just gets more and more expensive the closer you get to try to sell those. Which, I mean, there's other strategies, I'm sure, to just work around that, but we haven't played it enough to get to that level. To where, for us, it gets tough.
Yeah, I would agree. But
I
I think it does some cool things, but...
Yeah, I do really like the kind of idea of trying to get the sunlight and be higher up than others, and not necessarily to block, but just to get points.
Right.
You're like, oh, BS, you are there trying to block me.
Right.
Which I may be, but I do like that kind of abstract type strategy in the game.
But yeah, I think this one probably be leaving our collection. I think just because I don't know that I get the desire to play it that often. Just because we have so many other games, but yeah, like you said, I think it's still a solid game. And I think there's going to be people that really like the game a lot. I think there's an advanced variant which we've never played with, but that sounded like it was even more difficult. So, you know, any other words, Maggie?
Final words.
It's beautifully made.
Yeah, it is a really nice looking
Yeah, it is.
game, so that's what's disappointing about it, I think, because the trees, they've got some 3D trees that you're putting out there, so.
Yeah. I remember when you first got this one, playing it with your dad, and he was
Yeah.
just like, what?
I remember that.
He's
when I
like
first
used to
played.
Catan and Ticket to Ride, and he's like, huh.
I do not even remember
And I was
that
like,
at all.
I don't even know what's happening, so.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think back to some of these games that our
I do
parents
not
have
remember
played.
that.
Yeah.
It's like, why that game of all games?
Yeah.
Did
I
we
think
rough them into?
Photosynthesis was one he got, like, shortly as he started, like, after Catan, after Stone Age. It was like, Photosynthesis was one of the first,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I think it was one that Tom from the Dice Tower rated really high, and that was part of the reason that, and that it looked so beautiful.
Yeah.
Were kind of the two reasons why I thought. And then when we played it, I was like, oh boy, I don't know about this. I don't know about this as
And
much.
it's barely left our shelf since.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Then our next one is Praga, Caput Regni by Vladimir Suchi, which is one that I have definitely wanted to play after hearing a lot of people really enjoying it. It's a heavier Euro game, and I could not get either of these people to play it with me.
It just takes so much work to learn a Euro game and then to play it the first time because everyone's learning, so it's like double the time on the
When the
box.
board
It
is
says 45
gigantic.
45 to 150 minutes, and it is a longer game.
45. 45.
45 to 100, that's a big spread.
It's a little bit of a spread.
Like, it could be 45 if you quit.
Wow.
Good one.
Wow.
No, but you played it and
But
you
no, I
really
played
liked
it with the in-laws, and I really liked it, and I actually wanted to get it back to the table because I'm like, I don't want to forget how to play these games, and this one was one that the reason I don't want to forget is because I remember once we started playing, it like there's a lot on the board, but it's actually a really simple, like once you learn it, it's very simple. Like you just do this action, and you know what they're all associated with. So, and there's only like I think 5 or 6 actions types that you can take, and some get better and better. So really, I felt like most of the game I was either looking at maybe 1, 2, or 3 actions at once that I would actually be doing. That's how I felt anyway from the one play. So I was like, wow, this is actually a lot simpler than the board would ever have you think. Because I will say the board, when you have it all set out, it looks very intimidating. I will agree on that. But yeah, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get it back to the table soon so that I could remember how to play it so that it would be, just because it was one that I didn't think would be. 'Cause there are some of those games where it's like, oh, even if I get this back to the table, it's really complex.
Yeah.
Well, we've got all the R's, the S's, the T's,
We'll get back to it eventually, maybe.
W, Q, X, Y, and Z's to play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be one you guys despise.
No.
There's some Euro games you guys despise. I don't think that'll be one of them. But maybe, you never know.
I think the problem with Euro games is, like, we just don't play them a lot. Like, I learned
yeah.
K-List this year and I haven't played it since.
Yeah.
Alright.
We
Another
got-
Vladimir
We got
Suchi.
Vladimir Suchi again, with Pulsar 2849.
Mr. P.
And this
Mr.
one
P.
I do know about.
You do know about this one?
Yeah, yeah.
This one we had played,
Yeah.
I think, in the previous year.
Mhm.
But we
I think
played
we
it a
did
few
a
times.
first impression and there's stuff out there on it.
Yeah, this one's another really solid Euro-style game, set in
It's great.
space.
It's great. I
Set
like
in
this one a
space,
lot.
so there's a lot of space theme there, definitely.
What? Come on, you're flying around. You're
It does
landing
feel a little
in
bit.
It comes
galaxies.
through a little bit, I'd
Comes
say.
through a little bit.
That's
but
about them. Okay, the spaceships. You have to agree the spaceships are killer. They're so cute.
Yeah.
The rest
I do
of it,
like that
though,
part.
is just, actions.
It's some-
with some space
some
stuff slapped on it.
Euro stuff trying to use your limited actions to do as much as you can.
Yeah.
It's kind of got, if you've played Grand Austria Hotel,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it reminds me of a little bit,
Yeah.
where you're going to be able to get 2 dice
But better.
per round, really, to activate. You can get 1 bonus die, but you can only get 1 bonus die at a time per round. So
Only
that's an interesting thing, because usually it seems like, I think a lot of games will be like, oh, you can just get as many bonuses as you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
But this one in particular is like, well, you can get 1 bonus die per round, but don't you think about getting 2, otherwise you're just wasting it.
I like
Yeah.
it. It keeps you guys in check.
It's tough because when you go on some of those planets, you don't know what the benefit's going to be. It's
Right.
like, oh, a bonus die. Already had one.
Right.
So waste.
That is a little disappointing, but
yeah.
I think it's got a lot of fun stuff to it, and I would say there's a lot, because we haven't played it a ton. I'd say there's a lot I haven't explored because
You always do
you
the same
tried
thing.
a few more of the I don't know what those boards are
those
called.
tiles.
Those tiles that you're
and
connecting.
them and
I feel like I never really go for those
Really?
because most of them take multiple dice to actually get working, and I'm just
yeah.
like, I mean, it must be worth
Yeah,
it to
I
do
felt
it
like it
because it
did.
feels like a
gave
big
me a
chunk
good
of the
bit
game.
because I got a lot of those like energy cubes, which helped me pretty much fill out end game. Those end game objectives, which was
Well, that's gotta
really
be it
awesome.
because those things in and of themselves, I don't think are typically endgame scoring pieces. It's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
about where you go and the
Yeah.
planet stuff and
Yeah, I suppose if you're going to get those, I think you have to
transmit.
get those
That's what
get those
they-
going early to get
Yeah.
you some production.
Yeah.
Otherwise I think it's a lot that you're dedicating to
Yeah.
that. So you got to get it going early. But they must work, otherwise I don't think they'd be in the game because the game already has a lot going on outside of that
Yeah.
stuff. So
It does.
I would assume they have to work.
So I think that one will be staying.
That one will be staying. They will both be staying. And we're actually going to
Another
some things up.
Vladimir Suchy?
keep it going. Mr. P himself, Vladimir Suchy, the Prodigals Club.
At least you didn't say, "Oh, this is the only Vladimir Suchy game we got here."
Good one.
Yeah, so this is one we got to the table. It was one of the last ones kind of in the P that we've been... So it was this, Photosynthesis, and... What was the other one? Trying to remember what the third one was that we... Oh, yeah.
Pret-A-Porter.
It's coming up. But, yeah, so this was one of the last 3 that we got to the table. Jesse and I had played this, I think, last year.
Yeah. You broke it out over
but you-
Christmas.
yeah.
It was like you got it and you're like, let's play it. It was on the table.
Or was it early this year? I
Oh,
can't remember.
Maybe that was Lorenzo.
It's hard to remember some of them, but...
So many games. so
We had played at the 2-player version, and I think we at the time were interested to see how the a 3-player game would play differently. And then so we did play a 3-player with you, and this time we used. So there's an option of kind of 3 different boards you can be using. You're trying to lose reputation, lose all your votes. I think the other ones lose all your money.
Yeah.
We didn't play with that one, but you're just kind of trying to get worse and worse throughout the game.
Become a rake in the Victorian age.
Right, but yeah, we played with 2 of them. I guess, what did you...
Yeah, it's kind of a different idea of a game where because it's like you're trying to lose as many points as
yeah.
possible. You like start high on all these tracks and you're like, no, go down, and you're like, what? But I thought it was good. There are some challenging pieces I think that are a little tight to it, and it's really limited in your action ability. But I thought it was good. And I think if Zach likes it, I would be willing to come back to the table for this one. It's fairly simple, actually, when you get it going. So it's just really figuring out
Yeah.
moves and stuff. Very typical Euro.
It says
style
40
game.
to 90 minutes, and I think, I mean, it seemed like
wasn't
all of
long.
it was
Yeah.
pretty quick action. It felt snappy, because, one
When the
thing I
actions
noticed...
really get limited
Right.
in this game.
Yeah, especially in the 3-player version. I can't remember, because it's been a while since we played the 2-player one. I can't remember if it felt like that.
Yeah, but we also had that 3rd board.
Oh, right, we did have more options. But, yeah, I think this one will be staying in the collection. We can try it definitely a few more times. It's another solid one. Probably out of the 3 Vladimir Suchy games, it might be 3rd for me on the list. I don't know.
Well, since I've only played...
But I've only played Praga once. I'd have to play that one a little bit.
I'd say this one's easily my favorite of those three. And
Okay.
might even be my favorite P game.
Ooh,
We'll have to see what else shows up.
interesting. Okay.
But yeah,
Boy,
I
this
love it.
really wasn't a big letter for you, was it?
Wow.
No, I think this was a pretty solid letter
It
for
is.
me, but it's got a lot of the Euro games. I think
Yeah.
it's one of those that I don't know that any of them are necessarily like my top 10 type games,
yeah.
but there's a lot that I'm like.
But yeah, I don't think
if someone asked me if I wanted to play them, I would want to play like
Yeah.
a lot of these.
like Photosynthesis, even like possibly being called, I'd still say I like that game. And I'd be willing to play it. You may not be willing to
Yeah.
play it, but I mean, that's one that I do still like. So it's a very solid letter.
Okay. But then we get to Project
Speaking of
L.
letters, Project L.
Well,
I would have maybe guessed that this one would have had a chance to be your favorite. I think there's one other one that I would think could possibly be your favorite, but we have not gotten to that one yet.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. It's really satisfying, just the little pieces. I mean, without the production of this,
That's true.
it's a very simple polyomino game, but with the production of this, the kind of dual-layered little boards that you're filling with these plastic Tetris pieces is so satisfying. And just kind of building your pool of tiles. It's not like you put them in there, you use them, you complete it for points, and throw those tiles back into the supply. They come back into your supply, which is something really cool that I don't see in a lot of games. Kind of even makes me think of after the Empire, when your castle's getting destroyed, you get those resources back into your supply. And I just like anything that is forgiving like that.
I haven't played this game yet, actually. It's supposed to be really simple.
Oh, wait a minute, you didn't play it?
You
No,
didn't?
I've
Oh.
never played this
Oh,
game.
sorry, I did.
I thought she played
I thought
I
for
was
sure
like-
you had played
I
it.
was like, oh, they played it without me.
Oops.
Oh, for some reason I thought you had definitely played this one.
No,
but
I think you
guess
guys
not.
played this one during a tournament while I was
Oh
playing
yeah,
it, and
you're
so I
playing
like, but it's
Space
never,
Space.
it's never come out.
The infamous game.
Yeah, but no, I've never played it, so
Okay.
I was like,
It's quick. We'll play it right after this.
We'll have to play this one. I guess which one between this and Patchwork, since they're both kind of polyomino games,
Oh,
do you
boy.
prefer?
That's really close. I don't know. I'm not
They're
sure.
two different experiences.
They
but,
are.
I think they're both solid.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a polyomino game, I would definitely be willing to say either are really good.
Yeah.
So next we've got Pocketbook Adventures. I don't think this was one that we probably wrote down. It doesn't look like.
It's actually
Oh.
17 P games.
yeah.
Yes. So this was one that, as of filming this anyway, I think it's still on Kickstarter, so you can go check that one out from Grumpy Spider Games. It's an interesting booklet of kind of it's a solo experience where you're going through, I don't know if you'd call it a dungeon, and kind of doing an interesting
Oh, yep.
mechanism
Like a
where you're
point and right, I
Point
think
and
they
right.
call it.
Mhm.
So you're pretty much just. Sometimes you have to hit a target from a certain location. You-
without looking.
Yes, you put your pencil there, look away, and try to hit the target.
Mhm.
It's something really cool, not anything that I've seen in any other game. But yeah, I really love this. You can check out our Kickstarter preview video we did to hear our full thoughts on it. But just short thing here, I just really, really love this game. And I think it's also in consideration for my favorite P game.
Nice. Yeah.
I have not played this one.
Yeah, you've not had a chance yet. Yeah, so we got that. Then we've got, going from that pocketbook to, this would not fit in your pocket, Project Elite. It covers Michaela's head. It's so big of a box.
Help me,
But yeah, this is one that Jesse ended up getting.
Yes, yeah, it's another unique game, and another one that's also in consideration for my favorite P game.
This is kind of, I think, the other one that I thought would have possibly been.
Yeah, this is a real-time game, so 2 real-time games in here, Pendulum and this. And this one, you're rolling dice frantically to get symbols to move around a map and shoot aliens, just hordes of aliens, a ton of them, and try to complete different objectives, and then run back to your base and escape. Before time runs out, and it's just another very unique game, and just the feeling you get from it is just like some alien movie, or Aliens, the second movie in that franchise is just fighting a big horde of aliens, and it just totally comes across in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was hesitant, I think, when I had seen it, because I was like, what is this game?
I was not wanting to play it based off of the cover. Not a big fan.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't the greatest cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one that I'd heard of, but had never really been that interested in. Probably because I either saw the cover or it just sounded like a game that I wouldn't. I don't know. I guess I didn't think the game was what it ended up being. But I would say it's a lot of fun because it's kind of you're just frantically rolling your dice. You get a small time allotment to do whatever you can in that short amount of time, and it feels a little bit tower defensey. So I like that quite a bit as well. It's a really fun game. So it kind of gives me that relief after all those heavy euros. So it's good. Fits in well with the rest of the P's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not played it.
You're looking forward to it.
Uh-huh.
Abby played it. I don't remember.
Oh,
I think she might have liked it. But I guess I can't speak for her. Maybe she hated it. But then we've got Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
I have not played it.
So this has just been Pepper and I, and we looked and we actually started. So this is now October of 2022. It looks like our first game of this was in August of 2021. So we've been playing this over quite a span because it's the game takes place over multiple games of pretty much a game of Pandemic, and you're playing over kind of a year's worth of time, doing various things. And since it's a legacy game, things are kind of changing as you play it, with some different spoilery type things. But I've really enjoyed it. It's gotten me to like Pandemic a lot more, I think. But I think this one kind of a little bit maybe for me like Clank Legacy was for Clank, where it maybe heard it after. I don't know how much I'm going to want to play Pandemic after playing this. Base Pandemic.
Yeah, I love Base Pandemic. I'm not sure. It was in my top 50 games for sure. I'm not sure exactly where it placed, if it did make it into the top 10. But yeah, this one, Pandemic Legacy. Pandemic would probably be my favorite game. We don't have that here currently, so that's not included in the list. That would probably be my favorite P game. Since we haven't completed the Legacy, I'd like to. We have just a couple months left. Once upon completion, I could definitely see this one being that #1 spot, since it does have that amazing Pandemic system. And unlike you, I don't think this is going to kill Pandemic or hurt it base game after this. Just like Clank, I still love the base game of Clank.
Yeah, I definitely still play both of those. I think it brings them down, probably will bring them both down a little bit for me. Because I've liked this quite a bit, but I would probably suggest, and you can check out we have recap videos of all the months, and we'll probably have an overall recap of what we can remember. But I would just say probably now that if I was you, if you're going to play this, I would probably try to fit it in probably more of like a 4 to 6 month span of playing it, because then you kind of remember. So there's some things that it kind of helps to remember, and it's just a little hard to remember them if you've got some gaps between plays.
Now, does it turn into Pandemic at the end, or is it just done?
I believe it is done. I
think you might be able to play it after. I'm not sure. Because I thought you originally couldn't, but I thought I read something that said you could. Or maybe that was beforehand, like before starting you could play it. Is what it was. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see after a few more plays.
Just trying to get the spoilers out of us.
Yes. This woman.
Sorry about that.
Then we've got Port Royal.
Yeah, one of my favorite games and my favorite P game.
This is your favorite P game?
Well,
you just haven't played Praga, Caput, Regni yet.
Yeah, that's right. There's probably 2 on here. I can't remember where they rank in my top 50, but they're different games. So, but I like this game a lot. It's really fun and unique, and it's push your luck and set collection and everything else. So, really quick filler game. Plays a decent amount of people, and yeah.
Yeah, I think I like it as a game for kind of the 4 to 5 player count. I think I like it that way quite a bit. I don't know that I would pick it as a game for like 2 to 3. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a solid one when you're doing that because it's a quick filler type game. So, and kind of can play out a little bit differently each time.
Yep.
I feel like the push your luck in it, as we've played it more and more, unless you get those swords, which I think is important, and I usually probably don't do as much as I should. I feel like I don't push my luck that much in this one. Like once I get the option of like 3 coins, I'm like, I'm just gonna take the coins. I'm not gonna try to get more cards. So, because it just seems like everyone that we play it with is pretty good at the game, and they just get their things too quickly. That if you bust a couple turns in a row, you're kind of way behind the 8 ball, unless you hit it. So, but it's a good game, good solid game for if you're looking for a filler one. But if you're looking for a filler one, let me point you to Point Salad because I think I might prefer this one even as a filler game to Port Royal. I would think.
Yeah, I think
it's a very
definitely works better at all player counts as opposed to that, which is not great at 2. This works probably even best at 2, I would say, just because then you can divide the cards equally into like 3 games, 3 sets of cards. Just use a third, where other player counts it's an odd amount. So I prefer 2 and having a 3-game series.
Nice.
But, yeah, and you get a few more options. You get cards that stay the same. I would agree. Probably the 2 to 3 player game is this one. The 4 to 5 is that one. But I think this one probably does a better job at doing the whole range. But I think once you hit that, it says 6 player count, you're probably not going to see any of the cards that were there when your last turn was. Whereas in a 2-player game, you'll probably see some of the stuff, so you can kind of plan a little bit with that. So it changes it a little bit how the game's played, but still fun. What do you think?
It's fine.
Wow.
I think that one shocks me the most.
It's fine. I mean,
you like Z Garcia and Nidavellir.
I don't know.
It's totally his type of game, and he hates it.
I don't hate
Well,
it.
doesn't hate it, but
it's like
both
not
mediocre.
super exciting to me. Like, I mean, sure you can try, but like when we do play in bigger player counts, you're right. Everything in front of you is different, so it's hard to even. It's totally luck based then if you've taken scoring cards and stuff like that, and you're just waiting for your turn to come around and make a decision is all you're doing. So, which is fine, but
I like it a lot. I just love all the colors and the artwork.
the artwork and the colors I think are really great.
I got some more great artwork.
Yes.
And parks.
Even on the inside of the box
It's so
cover.
pretty.
I don't know if you can see it.
The arch.
But yeah, what was that? How was I supposed
I feel
to
like
know
I've been
that I
talking
was
about a lot of these games, so I'm like,
Parks is a
well, someone
game.
can explain some good
I
games.
played this game once.
Okay,
I played
Mac,
it like 3 times.
you explain it to us.
There's like a path of abilities.
What have they been calling it on the Dice Tower? Is it a ratchet and whatever?
Ratchet something, I
And
forget.
Clank.
So pretty much a path that you're taking that kind of gets bigger and bigger as the game goes on, and kind of
Go as far as you want.
Yep.
Can't go back.
That allows you some abilities and stuff, and I think it's unique where you're like trying to satisfy some kind of objective or resources for card type thing. There's like a camera piece, but that feels peripheral, like not really like. It's like an odd part of the game.
Yeah.
And then there's like those cards at the bottom. I don't know what those are. Those green ones.
Just little gear
Yeah.
type of things.
Gear
I think those are
cards.
pretty
Give you
helpful.
bonuses.
Yeah. They can be if you can get them. So yeah, it's just kind of a unique. We're talking about it. Let's talk about it. So it's just kind
Let's
of
talk about it.
a unique. I think it's really cute, very beautifully put together. An interesting game.
Yeah, I think this one also has a lot of I don't know what the expansions do if they just add more tile
Probably
types.
more spots and probably
'cause,
some.
Yeah, I think the ones that they have right now are interesting, but it would possibly be cool to see if those new ones do have those, or if it's just more cards.
Oh, yeah.
The artwork in them is really cool too. I
Yeah,
think
fantastic.
kind of all the different artwork of the cards and stuff are really cool.
Yeah.
I think this one is I think it kind of does give you the feeling of this box where it, like, photosynthesis feels like it should be kind of what this game is too, where it's kind of more of a, I don't know what you'd call exactly, calming type game.
Yeah, it is
Whereas that
calming.
one is not calming. This one does live up to that.
Yeah, it does.
It is aesthetic, and it is like walking through a park.
It's calm,
An actual
quiet,
park.
nature sounds.
It's so aesthetic. I love how beautiful.
The nature
it is.
sounds start coming out of the box.
We put those on in the background.
But no, that's a solid one that will be kept. I don't think we've gotten rid of any of these.
Photosynthesis, I
Just
think, is
one.
the only one.
Ooh, Pan-Am. Feels like forever ago that we played this. And we all
Yes.
played it. We played a 4-player version of it.
Another
did.
very nature-themed game. Here.
Yes.
Not quite.
Um,
Geographics.
but yeah, this one is a bit of, I guess you'd call it route building. It kind of has that feel to it, where you're trying to build kind of routes between places, kind of Ticket to Ride-esque, but it with planes.
Yeah.
And you're kind of buying different planes throughout or getting different planes throughout the game that kind of can cover different links. I think there's certain ones that can do certain links.
You need a big plane for a big route.
Yes. But yeah, this is interesting. We only played it once, and now it's been a
Minutes.
while
It
since
has
we
been a
started
while.
our P games, and this was like one of the first ones.
Yes.
So I'm not remembering
It's
everything
crazy 'cause
exactly
it's
I
like the
do.
newest one that we had.
It is like the newest P game. Outside of maybe Praga, those were about. But yeah, this is probably still the newest. Yeah, I remember really liking the play of it that we had.
Yeah.
I wanted to play it some more. I think at the time thinking, kind of the way, because one of the things that's happening throughout the game is Pan-Am is like buying kind of the routes from you, I think, if I remember right. And they kind of either go from, I think it's there's 2 different airports they can kind of start from, and there are 2 different areas, locations, and then they kind of go from there, and then it's kind of based on dice rolls. There's like 4 different routes that they kind of follow. So I am kind of curious if that would feel kind of samey after more games kind of starting from those same spots. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do like it. I think I think if you like a Ticket to Ride game, I think I could see you probably liking this.
Maybe
And
a little deeper.
I think it's a
possibly.
little heavier Ticket to
Yeah, I
Ride.
really like the kind of bidding aspect to some of the
I
cards
forgot
that you
about
can get
that.
as well. It's kind of gave me feels of Amon-Re, where you can bid this here, someone goes there, outbids you. You go to another card, outbid someone else, they go maybe outbid that other person, they go to another card. I know we had a couple of rounds there where it was just so much movement around there, and it's just so fun and so unique.
Yeah.
I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's aesthetically pleasing. I wouldn't say I'm sold on the game as itself. I do think the route building is unique and stuff, but I wouldn't say that it satisfies a void or does something for me that other games don't. So, fine game, I think, just not. It didn't seem like earth shattering. It just uses airplanes to.
Yeah.
It just uses airplanes.
It uses really cool airplanes. Yeah.
So we will see. Maybe with more plays, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Then we've got another. This
Yeah.
one is something different.
Yeah.
Sort of.
It is.
A lot of unique
Kind
games.
of a Clue style game.
Yeah.
It's the closest I can really think of.
I
Yeah.
really like this one. I thought the puzzle was really unique. You are trying to place characters in a picture according to kind of what they want or where they want to be. You know, like they want to be next to this person, but not that person. Or they want to be by the table, but they want to be in the back. And so you're trying to satisfy as many of these requirements as possible for all these guests. And I just think that was pretty unique. It's memory driven for the most part, so it's like, okay, she wanted this, and so like in my head I'm like picturing it out and like trying to like get everybody next to each other and trying to figure it out. So I thought it was unique. I would say it's probably not one that I'm gonna say like, hey, let's play this, you know, again and again and again. I'm like, hey, let's grab this, you know, every once in a while. I think the puzzle of it, the memory piece of it, is probably enough for me. But it's different. It's way different than a lot of other games out there. So
Yeah, I really love this game. It's like you said, it's just so different, and I just love opening up the characters and just getting to know so much about them and have this whole image of them in their mind. They're like, I don't want to be next to any women, but I want to be next to her. And it's like, what do you want?
Which one do I choose?
Just imagining this crazy family gathering.
Yeah.
And have a plant with preferences too,
Yeah.
and a dog.
Right.
Just
Everyone wants
crazy,
to know where the
wacky.
dog wants to go.
Yes.
It really is like a family dinner party
does.
because like all these
It
little
is.
intricacies of like you can't see grandma next to Aunt Patrice or something crazy like that, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone just whispering these demands to the cameraman.
Someone's talking to the plant like, oh my god.
Yeah. And I like how you usually probably don't get to see all the information.
Yeah.
So then you have that, you
You
can
got
take a
hot
chance
guess.
on it, but there's a chance you could lose points then.
That burned
Wow.
me big time in the last game we played.
So yeah, if you don't get any of their stuff right, you can lose a lot of points really quickly, especially if someone, you can kind of put these VIP cards to
yeah.
double the points. So that could really screw you over a
And then
little
you gotta
bit.
remember that you put it in there, so it's like, oh, I can't compromise on this one, and you
Right.
might have gotten
Yeah.
something that would score better if you move that person, but now you're
yeah.
like, I can't move it. I have to satisfy that one.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's a very interesting game, and yeah, like you said, probably not one bring out all the time, but it is one. I think you could play with most
Yeah.
people. I think you could be like, oh, have you played Clue before? And
Yeah.
there's probably a lot of people that have it, even if they're not into, a lot of the modern board games. And I think they would get this. And I think it's a really fun part too at the very end when you are, pulling out of each one, you're getting points for it or losing it. I think it can kind of be funny sometimes when it's like, either you did originally like know where one person was, and then you maybe did end up making a change, like, oh yeah, I think that still satisfies, and you're like, oh man, I totally screwed that up. I had him where he needed to be, but then I thought it was, but yeah, a lot of fun.
yeah, kind of an easy, like, not a hard board game.
Yeah.
Is this our last one? No.
This was the last P we got to.
Uh-huh.
I got played. It's another heavier one.
Yeah.
Euro style, but this one, for me, is the closest thing I've seen to like replicating running a business, and I really enjoy what it does because it's still it fits all of that feel into it, but it's still not like overly complicated. To me, it doesn't feel like, because you can get new buildings that kind of help your actions. You can get employees that help you, but even with all that stuff going on, and you're getting you're doing these shows, because kind of you're dressing up these people, getting I was gonna say yarn, but you're not dressing them in yarn, the fabric or
Right.
thread or whatever that you're putting on the people and stuff and bringing them to the show. It's just really satisfying. It all works together, flows really well, I feel. There's maybe a couple things in there that are a little difficult sometimes to remember. But overall, I think it's a very solid thing. And then kind of when you do end up getting to those 4 point, I think it's 4 points in the game where you do shows 4 different times.
Yeah.
It just feels like you're getting tons of points, a huge chunk of points. And that's,
Money.
to me, it's always really satisfying. It's one of the most satisfying point dumps that I've seen in many games.
I agree. There's a lot of games where you're just building up to something, and it's like, oh, you get a reward. This one, it feels like, yes, the payoff.
Right.
All that money I spent, I got like none left, and you get like 20 money there, 25 there, 20 more there, and it's like, yes.
As long as you didn't spend over on the fabric, then you
Yes.
probably did all right.
Yes. But yeah, I love the game.
You do.
I do love this game. This
Wow! Why
This-
I couldn't even get you to play it. You weren't even sure if you wanted
it's
to.
a commitment.
You're welcome. I got him to play it.
I do love
Look,
this
it's only.
game.
Oh,
I
I
loved
thought
it
that said
before.
40 to 120. It's 90 to 120.
All these games are like 40, 45 minutes. But yeah, I love this game. Even before we first played it, I watched like a how to play, and I'm like, with the theme and everything, it just kind of makes sense. Like you're going, you're getting people, you're getting buildings, you're getting fabric to then build these sets and present them, and I'm like, it just kind of all flows together really well, tied together perfectly with that theme. Like you said, it just brings that to life more than any game that I've seen.
Especially for being kind of a thinkier Euro type game.
Yeah.
The theme really comes through, I
Yeah.
think. You're not as big a fan.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not as enthralled about it as you guys are. I feel much better about it after my second playthrough. Like, I actually understand now
You destroyed us.
how the game works. I mean, I told you guys, I'm sure there's somehow I cheated. I'm really surprised that this appeals to, like, the mass game population, because it's, one, a super heavy game, and two, just the theme in it. I wouldn't think, I mean, neither of you are fashionistas by any means, but I mean, it's not really like you're actually, like, doing anything like Dolce and Gabbana or anything like that. So, I will say though, I feel like not all cards are created equal between the contracts and the buildings and the employees, and so you get the right ones, and I think that helps you immensely, because there's oftentimes when I could see, like, they just weren't enough. They just weren't appealing enough. Like, there was one card out of 3 that someone would go for, and very rarely would we have 2 markers on that one, because you knew which one was going to get taken by the first player on that one, and it was like, is there one worth using one of my very limited placements to do
limited.
actions to grab one of the secondary card, you know? And then it costs you money and all that stuff. So I would say it's very thought-driven game, but when I was playing it yesterday, I was thinking, I would much rather play Terraforming Mars to get my brain to think like this. Not necessarily this one, but I wouldn't say it's a bad game. It's just one that you really gotta stay on top of it. And I was trying hard to think moves ahead yesterday. Like, there was steam coming out my ears. Like, I was very quiet, like, just trying to focus, because I just so much going on. So
I think a lot of those cards could be good situationally.
yeah.
Because I think there was one earlier on in the game, and I think we'd only ever played this 2-player before. But you get the same amount of worker placement spots 3-player that you do 2-player, so it becomes a lot
So I
tighter.
definitely play 3-player. I don't know that I like 2-player.
Because it definitely felt like you weren't getting the opportunity to get as many spots as you would have wanted. And I think there was a building or something that allowed you to kind of, once per turn, play on something that was full, or already had the spots full. So you would... I don't know that one would be as good in a 2-player game, just because you'd probably be able to do more of what you wanted. But I think in this 3-player game, looking back, I should have probably gotten that one, because there were a lot of times where... especially getting
can't draw cards, can't get fabric.
Those 2 actions mainly, those towards the bottom were...
Anytime a game has one of those in there, because I think, like, that's like a common thing. You should always probably grab that. True in this game too.
But I really like it.
Is it staying in the collection?
It is staying in the collection.
All right, Pret-A-Porter.
Well, we'll see, because I think they just... Well, I don't think it's out yet, but they did do a football...
like soccer type.
Soccer... And I don't know if it's like exactly like this.
Where you're managing a soccer team?
You're managing a soccer team, so I don't know if it's quite the same. I didn't look at it that closely, but I don't know. Could maybe see how popular that one becomes, or if it is a similar feel. I'm not sure, though. And we got the last P game.
Last one. Also so big it covers me up.
Planet Unknown. This was one that got delivered this year, so this is a newer one, and this is probably my favorite P game.
I mean, what can you say? Like, Chef Kiss, like, Slow Cap, like, this game has been so popular in the short amount of time we've had it.
We've played this one quite a bit, probably...
The most.
Is it the most out of any of our P games? Especially this year, anyway. Maybe out of all of them ever, even? Port Royal we've played quite a bit.
Point Salad.
But... comparatively, those are like 20-minute experiences. This is still going to be an hour and a half or something.
It's going to be 70 minutes.
70 minutes, exactly. This one's awesome. I was getting... It is. I was getting a little nervous.
I know you were.
After it was... Because this one, I think, took... I don't want to overstate it, but I think it was at least 2 years, I think, that it took to deliver. If not, it might have been a little bit longer.
I mean, there was a pandemic in there, so...
Yes. So, can't really blame that. And it's a small Adam's Apple Games. I think it's actually out of Minnesota. So,
represent.
Yeah. But, I think just taking a little bit longer. Just a smaller company. It's tough times. But, it was even better than I would have thought. And there's a lot of content in here. My only negative is the box can't hold it all. It's a big box too.
Can't.
Because the Lazy Susan is just awesome, and that's what actually makes. I think that's what makes the game. It's crazy how that can make the game work.
You
so
think
well.
about like a game like Barren Park, where it's just the polyomino shapes laid out, right? And if you could do that for this, or like Hall of the Mountain King, where they're just laid out. But you get this Lazy Susan, you get to spin it, you get a polyomino shape every turn. No matter whose turn it is, you get a polyomino shape, whether you want it or not, whether it helps you or not, you get
two
one.
options.
Yeah, and so I think it's rewarding. It's fun because you're building out this shape, and then you can add in these different planets to make it challenging and different abilities. So there's so much replayability in a not so small box, but
it's great that like even at higher player counts, between your turns you're getting like maybe 3 or 4 tiles that you have no choice of. You get like a choice between 2, but
make it work.
You just got to make it work, and I don't even feel like I had no chance there. I just got handed these scrap tiles. It always feels satisfying, and then I'm able to do something with them. Just the track movement as well is so satisfying.
Right. Yeah. And during the campaign, they had unlocked all these different planets and extra corporation boards, and like you said, that makes it even so much just extremely replayable. I don't even remember how many are in there. I think it's over 10, maybe 10 apiece. Over 10 apiece. I'm not sure. But yeah, I still haven't explored all of them, but they all sound really fun.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
I don't think it'd fit the box, but I'd be willing to see an expansion maybe sometime. But I've still got a lot to play of just this, so it's a solid game.
Yeah. Easily like the one we pulled out most to like introduce it.
I'm kind of surprised.
This could possibly be favorite P as well. There's a lot of. I was thinking beforehand, I was like, is this a good letter or not? I'm not sure. But now I'm like, okay, this is a fantastic letter. I mean, there's so much contention for favorite P.
Yeah, even with all those heavy Euros that I really like in the Ps, this one kind of takes the cake for me. And I think it was already in my top 50 after just like 4 months of having the game. Cause
it was in mine too. Quite high up.
It's just really solid.
It is.
And it works so smoothly. It's so quick. Because I don't know if the 70 minutes is exactly right, but I wouldn't think it's much longer than that. And there's probably times once you know how to play it that it's shorter than that. So
it's never dragged on.
No, it never drags on. So
lived up and exceeded all expectations.
Yes, solid, awesome game.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I think those are all of our P games. There were a lot of them, so I don't know. Maybe we missed some.
There's actually 18. I missed Pocketbook and I missed Pandemic Legacy. So 18 of them.
That might be our outside of C. Might be our second most.
I think it is the
letters.
Second most
because I don't think there.
14.
Even though you'd think there would be, there aren't as many R's, S's, or T's as you'd think there would be. Because any with the in the title we counted as the second. Whatever the second word was. So that hurts T a little bit. But, so solid letter. A lot of great games there. I'd highly recommend a lot of them. So and even when we're getting rid of photosynthesis, I think there are people that one would be for. But I just don't know. I don't know that it's for me. Especially with all these other options.
So many other games.
So if you want to check out our other, I don't know if we have, can't remember if we have any other videos on any of these other games.
We have Point Salad. We have some videos on that. Not sure about a lot of these. We've done a lot of videos.
We've got probably some unboxings, first impressions on some of them. So you can check out our channel, see if we got more content on it. If we don't, let us know below if you want to hear some more, and we'd be happy to play these, especially me. I don't know. There's some that maybe you guys wouldn't be as much, but let us know below. But otherwise, we hope to see you on our next video. And as always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on our content.